They say some friendships last a lifetime. And then there are those that feel like they were written in the stars. The kind that knows your secrets, your fears, your dreams, the kind that even silence feels comfortable in. Emma and Lucas had been those friends. They met in kindergarten, their bond forming over scraped knees, shared lunch boxes, and the endless curiosity of childhood. They were inseparable, always there for each other, the kind of friends who could finish each other's sentences, who knew each other's coffee order by heart. They laughed together, cried together, grew up together. But somewhere along the way, that friendship had taken on an unspoken weight, a quiet understanding that maybe, just maybe, they were destined for more. On a rainy afternoon in October, sitting on the old wooden bench in the park where they first met, Lucas had looked at Emma and said, "Let's make a pact. No matter what happens, we promise each other that if we're both single by 30, we marry each other." Emma had laughed, brushing a strand of wet hair from her face, thinking he was joking, but then saw the seriousness in his eyes. The pact was made with a handshake, a laugh, and a promise that felt as solid as the oak tree beside them. They went on with life, moving through college, new jobs, heartbreaks, triumphs, the ordinary chaos of life, always carrying that pact in their hearts like a secret anchor. Every birthday, every milestone, they would remind each other of the promise, joking about the wedding plans they weren't even remotely ready for. And yet, there was a warmth in that promise, a comfort that no one else could replicate. Years passed, and 30 approached like an inevitable storm. Emma and Lucas had spent weeks planning a quiet celebration to commemorate their pact, the way they always celebrated life's moments, together. But then, life, with its uncanny sense of timing, threw a curveball. Emma met him on a Tuesday. Daniel. He was nothing like Lucas. He was reckless and brilliant, wild and tender all at once. He made her laugh in ways she hadn't remembered she could. He noticed the little things about her, the things Lucas sometimes took for granted. She didn't know how it happened. She swore she didn't. But somehow, within a few weeks, she was falling, and it was terrifying. Falling for someone else, weeks before a pact that had been the cornerstone of her life. She tried to push it down, to ignore the flutter in her chest when Daniel texted, the warmth when he held her hand, the way the world seemed to shine a little brighter when he was near. But denial is a fragile shield, and it wasn't long before Lucas noticed. He always noticed. He could read her like a book, every pause, every hesitation, every unspoken word. One evening, as they sat on that same old bench, now worn with age and stories, Lucas looked at her with eyes that held years of friendship, loyalty, and something deeper, something raw and aching. "Emma," he said quietly, "you've been distant lately. Tell me what's going on." She hesitated, the weight of her confession pressing down on her. "Lucas, I met someone." The words hung in the air like fragile glass. Lucas blinked, a storm behind his calm exterior, a pain he refused to show fully. He nodded slowly, his voice measured. "I see." They sat in silence, the rain now a gentle drizzle, and in that silence, Emma realized how deep her feelings for him ran, how much she feared losing the thing that had always been her safe harbor. Lucas had always been her anchor, her constant, and yet now, the thought of being with anyone else made her heart twist in ways she hadn't anticipated. Over the next days, they navigated a delicate dance of conversations and half-truths, trying to reconcile years of friendship with the sudden intrusion of something so human and raw: love, fear, betrayal. Lucas, too, wrestled with the complicated maze of his own emotions. He had imagined their life together in 1,000 different ways, rehearsed conversations, imagined proposals, dreamed of shared mornings and quiet nights. And yet, when he saw Emma with Daniel, his chest tightened with an ache he couldn't name, a quiet longing that was almost unbearable. The days slipped by, the pact looming like a shadow, the 30-year milestone now a countdown filled with tension, uncertainty, and a silent, unspoken question. Was this pact worth holding on to, or was it time to let go? Emma spent sleepless nights pacing her apartment, thinking of Lucas and Daniel, the two men who represented entirely different paths in her life. One path was safe, known, comfortable, but also charged with the complexity of unspoken love and the weight of a lifetime together. The other was thrilling, unpredictable, intoxicating, but new and untested. She loved both in different ways, and the confusion was almost unbearable. And then came the night before her 30th birthday, a night when the pact would become reality, one way or another. Lucas called her, his voice soft but steady. "Emma, we need to talk. Now." She found herself at their favorite cafe, the one they had frequented since college, the place where they had celebrated small victories and consoled each other during defeats. He sat there, calm, collected, but the tension in his posture betrayed everything he felt. "I can't do this," he said suddenly, surprising her. "I can't marry you tomorrow, knowing your heart isn't fully here." Emma's throat tightened, tears threatening to spill. "Lucas, I don't know what to do. I love you, but I also," she hesitated, searching for the right words, "I also love him." He nodded, swallowing the lump in his throat. "I know, I can see it, and I would rather you be happy, truly happy, than stick to a promise that might not be what you want." The confession hung in the air, heavy but freeing, and in that moment, something shifted. Emma realized that love was not about promises or pacts or timelines. Love was messy, unpredictable, and sometimes it demanded courage, sacrifice, and the willingness to let go. They sat in silence, holding hands across the table, not as lovers bound by a pact, but as friends bound by a lifetime of trust, understanding, and unbreakable connection. The next morning, Emma met Daniel, her heart racing, tears brimming. She confessed everything: the pact, Lucas, the depth of her confusion. Daniel listened, patient and understanding, his love unwavering. And then she went to Lucas, not to reaffirm the pact, but to thank him, to honor the bond that had shaped her, the friendship that had made her who she was. Lucas smiled, that familiar warmth in his eyes, and for the first time, they both laughed without the weight of obligation pressing down on them. Time passed, and Emma found a balance she hadn't known was possible. She loved Daniel, she cherished Lucas, and somehow, in a way that seemed impossible months ago, the three of them found a rhythm that allowed love and friendship to coexist, unshaken. The pact had not bound them in chains, but had reminded them of what mattered most: the courage to face truth, the bravery to follow their hearts, and the unshakable bond of friendship that could survive anything. On her 30th birthday, Emma realized something profound. Love was not a destination or a contract, it was a journey. And sometimes the journey demanded choices that broke your heart in order to heal it. Lucas was there, Daniel was there, and for the first time, Emma felt an overwhelming sense of peace. Life was unpredictable, messy, and beautiful, and she was ready for it, ready to embrace love in all its forms, ready to live fully without regrets. And as she looked at Lucas, smiling, and then at Daniel, laughing, she understood the truth that had eluded her for so long. Love was not about fulfilling pacts or timelines. It was about connection, honesty, and the courage to let your heart guide you, even when it terrified you. And in that moment, with the sun rising over the city, Emma knew she was exactly where she was meant to be. Not bound by promises, but liberated by love, friendship, and the unshakable certainty that some bonds once formed last a lifetime.